Hello, friends. Welcome back to Old Coins News. Today, we're going to talk about some of the rarest and most historical United States dollar coins, including the legendary Morgan dollar, the powerful trade dollar, and the iconic Eisenhower dollar. These coins feature inscriptions like United States of America, E pluribus unum, In God we trust, and $1. But did you know that some of these coins can be worth thousands of dollars? In today's video, we'll go through the full history of all these coins, their mint marks like CC, silver content, rarity, and current market value. You never know, there might even be a hidden treasure in your own pocket change. If you love learning about old coins, rare dollars, and valuable errors, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel with the bell icon turned on, so you're the first to get all our amazing coin videos. Alright, let's get started. The 1881 CC $1 is one of the most famous and historically important silver coins ever produced by the United States. This coin is officially known as the Morgan dollar, and the CC mint mark tells us it was struck at the legendary Carson City Mint in Carson City. When you read the words United States of America, In God we trust, E pluribus unum, and $1 on this coin, you are holding a powerful symbol of American history from the Wild West era. The year 1881 places this coin in a period when the American frontier was still expanding, silver mining was booming in Nevada, and the nation was growing in wealth and industry. The Morgan dollar series began in 1878 after the passage of the Bland-Allison Act, which required the U.S. government to purchase large amounts of silver and convert it into silver dollars. The design was created by British-born engraver George T. Morgan, whose artistic vision gave the coin its name. On the obverse front, we see Lady Liberty in profile, wearing a Phrygian cap decorated with wheat and cotton, symbolizing agricultural unity between North and South after the Civil War. Above her head appears a motto, E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Around the border are 13 stars representing the original colonies, along with the date 1881. The words In God we trust are displayed prominently on the reverse side, reinforcing the nation's faith and values during that era. The reverse design features a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings. The eagle holds arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, symbolizing America's readiness for both war and peace. The phrase United States of America curls along the top edge, while $1 appears boldly at the bottom. Just beneath the wreath on the reverse, you will find the small but extremely important CC mint mark. This mark is what makes the 1881 CC Morgan dollar so special and collectible. The Carson City Mint operated only from 1870 to 1893, and coins from this facility are highly sought after because of their limited production and strong connection to the Old West silver boom. The 1881 CC Morgan dollar was struck in relatively low numbers compared to some other mints. Approximately 296,000 pieces were minted, making it one of the scarcer Carson City issues. However, many examples were stored in Treasury vaults for decades and later released in the 1970s through the General Services Administration (GSA) sales. These coins often came in special black plastic holders with certificates of authenticity, which today add extra collector appeal. High-grade uncirculated examples are especially valuable because many surviving coins were preserved in excellent condition. In terms of specifications, the 1881 CC Morgan dollar contains 90% silver and 10% copper. It weighs 26.73 grams and has a diameter of 38.1 millimeters. The edge is reeded, meaning it has small grooves around the rim. The silver content alone gives it intrinsic value based on the current market price of silver, but collector demand usually pushes the market value much higher than melt value. Depending on condition, prices can range from several $100s for circulated pieces to thousands of dollars for high-grade mint state examples graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services. Condition plays a major role in determining value. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. An 1881 CC in heavily worn condition might show smooth details on Liberty's hair and the eagle's feathers. In contrast, an uncirculated coin will have sharp details, strong luster, and minimal contact marks. Because many 1881 CC coins were stored rather than circulated, they are often found in higher grade compared to some other Carson City years. This makes the 1881 CC one of the more available CC mint issues, yet still very desirable due to its historic mint mark. The historical importance of the Carson City Mint adds romance and legend to this coin. The mint was established primarily to process silver from the nearby Comstock lode, one of the richest silver discoveries in American history. The silver used to strike the 1881 cc dollars likely came directly from Nevada mines, linking each coin to the mining camps, cowboys, and frontier towns of the Old West. When you hold this coin, you are holding a direct connection to that dramatic chapter of American expansion. Collectors often look for specific die varieties and VAM numbers, a classification system for Morgan dollar die variations. Some 1881 CCVAM varieties feature different mint mark placements or minor design differences, which can increase collector interest. Additionally, proof-like PL and deep mirror proof-like DMPL examples command significant premiums because of their mirror-like reflective fields and frosted devices. Another fascinating aspect of the 1881 CC Morgan dollar is its survival story. In the early 20th century, millions of Morgan dollars were melted under the Pittman Act of 1918 to help support the British war effort during World War I. Fortunately, many Carson City coins had already been stored and were not melted. Decades later, in the 1960s and 1970s, large quantities were discovered in government vaults, surprising collectors and creating one of the most exciting coin releases in U.S. numismatic history. Today, the 1881 CC Morgan dollar is considered a key piece for anyone building a complete Carson City collection. Some collectors aim to gather every CC Mint Morgan dollar from 1878 to 1893, while others focus only on high-grade examples. Because of its strong strike quality and relatively good availability in mint state, the 1881 CC is sometimes recommended as an entry-level Carson City coin, though its price still reflects its special status. In conclusion, the 1881 CC $1 coin is far more than just silver. It represents American history, Western expansion, mining heritage, and artistic beauty. The inscriptions United States of America, In God We Trust, E Pluribus Unum, and $1 capture the spirit and ideals of the nation during the late 19th century. The CC Mint mark connect the coin to the historic Carson City Mint and the silver riches of Nevada. Whether you are a seasoned collector or just discovering rare coins, the 1881 CC Morgan dollar stands as one of the most iconic and treasured pieces in all of American numismatics. The 1873 CC trade dollar is one of the most historically powerful and internationally significant silver coins ever struck by the United States. Officially known as a trade dollar, this coin was produced specifically for overseas commerce, particularly trade with China and other parts of Asia. The inscriptions you mentioned, United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, In God We Trust, 420 grains, 900 fine, and CC, all appear on this coin and each carries deep meaning tied to America's economic ambitions during the late 19th century. The year 1873 marks the very beginning of the trade dollar series, making the 1873 CC especially important as a first-year issue from one of the most famous Western mints in U.S. history. The CC Mint mark tells us this coin was struck at the legendary Carson City Mint located in Carson City. This mint was established primarily to process silver from the massive Comstock lode, one of the richest silver discoveries in American history. During the 1870s, Nevada was booming with mining activity, and vast quantities of silver were being extracted from the earth. The U.S. government needed a way to compete with other nations, particularly Mexico and Spain, whose silver coins were widely accepted in Asian markets. American merchants faced difficulties because U.S. silver dollars were slightly lighter than the popular Mexican 8 reales coins. To solve this problem, Congress authorized the creation of the trade dollar in 1873 with a slightly heavier weight, to make it more attractive in international trade. The trade dollar contains 420 grains of silver, which equals approximately 27.22 grams. This is heavier than the standard Morgan or seated Liberty silver dollar of the period, which weighed 412.5 grains. The 900 fine inscription refers to the silver purity, 90% silver and 10% copper, the same purity used in most U.S. silver coins of that era. By placing 420 grains and 900 fine directly on the reverse of the coin, the U.S. Mint clearly advertised its weight and purity to foreign merchants, ensuring confidence in its silver content. This was extremely important in Asian markets where coins were often weighed rather than accepted purely at face value. The design of the trade dollar was created by William Barber, who was the chief engraver of a United States mint at the time. On the obverse front of the coin, Liberty is shown seated on a bale of merchandise, facing toward the left, symbolically toward the Pacific Ocean and Asia. She holds an olive branch extended outward, representing America's peaceful intentions in trade. In her other hand, she supports a scroll inscribed with the word Liberty. Behind her are sheaves of wheat, symbolizing agricultural abundance, and beneath her is the date 1873. Around the upper edge appears the inscription E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, reflecting the unity of the states. The reverse design features a powerful eagle with wings spread wide. In its talons, the eagle clutches arrows in an olive branch, again symbolizing strength and peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America at the top and Trade Dollar at the bottom. Beneath the eagle are the words 420 grains, 900 fine, clearly stating the coin's weight and purity. Above the eagle appears the national motto, In God We Trust, placed on a ribbon. Just below the wreath on the reverse side is a small but highly significant CC mint mark, identifying its origin at Carson City. The 1873 CC trade dollar has special importance because it was struck during the very first year of production for the series. Approximately 124,500 pieces were minted at Carson City in 1873. Compared to other U.S. silver dollars, this is a relatively low mintage, making the coin scarce and highly collectible today. Many of these coins were shipped overseas and heavily circulated in China and Southeast Asia. As a result, surviving examples are often found with heavy wear, chop marks, small stamp marks applied by Chinese merchants to verify silver content, or surface damage. Chop-marked examples tell a fascinating story of international commerce and are collectible in their own right. The trade dollar had an unusual and somewhat troubled history in the United States. Although intended primarily for export, some trade dollars circulated domestically. In 1876, the government revoked their legal tender status for amounts over $5 because their silver value often fluctuated below face value. This created confusion and sometimes hardship for workers who were paid in trade dollars that merchants refused to accept at full value. Eventually, the coin was discontinued for circulation strikes in 1878, though approved versions continued until 1885. When evaluating an 1873 CC trade dollar today, condition is extremely important. Coins are graded on a scale from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. Because so many were used in trade overseas, high-grade uncirculated examples are rare and valuable. Even circulated examples in very fine, VF, or extremely fine, XF, condition can command strong prices due to the coin's historical importance and limited mintage. Chop-marked pieces are sometimes slightly discounted compared to clean examples, but many collectors appreciate them for their authenticity and connection to Asian trade history. The silver content alone gives the 1873 CC intrinsic melt value based on current silver prices, but collector demand far exceeds bullion value. In lower circulated grades, prices can range from several hundred to over $1,000 depending on condition and eye appeal. In higher mint state grades, values can rise dramatically into several thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars for exceptional examples. Because of the high value, counterfeit versions exist, so authentication by professional grading services is strongly recommended before buying or selling. The 1873 CC trade dollar is not just a coin, it is a symbol of America's expansion into global markets. It reflects a time when the United States was emerging as an international economic power. The silver mine from Nevada's Comstock lode was transformed into coins that traveled across oceans, passing through the hands of merchants in Shanghai, Hong Kong, and beyond. Few U.S. coins have such a direct connection to international commerce and global trade routes. In conclusion, the 1873 CC trade dollar with the inscriptions United States of America, E pluribus unum, In God We Trust, 420 grains, and 900 fine stands is one of the most fascinating and historically rich coins in American numismatics. Struck at the Carson City Mint during the silver boom era, heavier than standard dollars, and created specifically for overseas trade, it represents ambition, commerce, and the global reach of 19th century America. Whether found with chop marks from Chinese merchants or preserved in high-grade uncirculated condition, the 1873 CC trade dollar remains a prized treasure among collectors worldwide and a powerful reminder of America's silver-driven past. The 1974 $1 coin of the United States, carrying the inscriptions United States of America, E Pluribus Unum, $1, Liberty, and In God We Trust, belongs to the historic Eisenhower Dollar series. This large and impressive coin was issued during the 1970s and was the last regular issue U.S. dollar struck in such a large silver dollar size for circulation. The year 1974 falls near the middle of the Eisenhower Dollar series, a period when the United States was adjusting to major economic changes, including inflation and the end of the silver standard era in circulating coinage. The Eisenhower dollar was first introduced in 1971 to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and Supreme Commander of Allied forces in Europe during World War II. His portrait appears on the obverse front of the coin. Above his head is the word Liberty, and below his chin appears the motto In God We Trust. The date 1974 is struck at the bottom. The portrait was designed by Chief Engraver Frank Gasparro, who also created a reverse design. The coin was intended both as a tribute to Eisenhower's leadership and as a commemoration of America's achievements in space exploration. On the reverse back of the 1974 Eisenhower dollar, you will see a powerful eagle landing on the surface of the moon, holding an olive branch. This design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, symbolizing peace and America's success in space exploration. The eagle appears beneath the inscription United States of America, while E Pluribus Unum is placed above the eagle. The denomination $1 curve along the bottom rim. The imagery connects President Eisenhower, who helped establish NASA, with the moon landing achievements of the late 1960s. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar was minted at three main facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were struck primarily in copper-nickel-clad composition for general circulation. These coins contain no silver. They are composed of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The total weight of the clad coin is approximately 22.68 grams, and the diameter is 38.1 millimeters, making it a very large and heavy coin compared to modern U.S. dollars. The San Francisco Mint produced special collector versions in 40% silver composition. These silver coins were not released into general circulation, but were sold directly to collectors in special packaging. The 40% silver Eisenhower dollars weigh slightly more, approximately 24.59 grams, due to their silver content. These were available in both uncirculated blue pack versions and proof brown box versions, which featured mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. In terms of mintage, the 1974 Eisenhower dollar had relatively high production numbers compared to earlier Carson City silver dollars. Millions were struck at Philadelphia and Denver, making circulated examples common today. However, high-grade uncirculated coins, especially those graded MS65 or higher, can command premium prices. Proof versions from San Francisco are also collectible, particularly in perfect PR69 or PR70 condition. One interesting feature of the 1974 Eisenhower dollar is that it exists in several minor varieties. Collectors often search for strong strikes, minimal contact marks, and attractive luster. Because of the coin's large size, it was prone to bag marks and scratches during storage and transport. Finding a flawless example can be challenging. Some minor die varieties and double dies have been identified, though none are as famous as certain earlier U.S. coin errors. The economic background of 1974 adds context to the coin story. The United States was experiencing inflation, an oil crisis, and changes in monetary policy. Large dollar coins were not popular in everyday commerce because they were heavy and inconvenient compared to paper dollar bills. As a result, many 1974 Eisenhower dollars were stored rather than widely used in circulation. This partly explains why uncirculated examples are still available today. Although the 1974 Eisenhower dollar does not contain silver in its regular circulation versions, it still holds strong historical value. It represents a last era of large dollar coins in the United States before the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced in 1979. For many collectors, the Eisenhower dollar is a bridge between classic silver dollars like the Morgan and Peace dollars and the modern dollar coin designs that followed. In terms of value, most circulated 1974 clad Eisenhower dollars are worth only slightly above face value, typically between $1 and $3 depending on condition. Uncirculated examples may range from $5 to $20 or more in high grades. The 40% silver versions carry additional bullion value based on silver prices, often worth significantly more than face value. Proof silver coins in original packaging are especially desirable to collectors. The inscriptions on the coin carry important symbolic meaning. Liberty represents the foundation of American democracy. In God we trust, adopted as a national motto, reflects national faith and unity. E pluribus unum emphasizes the idea that many states and people form one united nation. United States of America and $1 clearly identify the issuing authority and denomination. In conclusion, the 1974 $1 coin from the Eisenhower Dollar series stands as a powerful reminder of American leadership, space achievement, and economic transition during the 1970s. With its bold-sized, detailed portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower and symbolic moon landing reverse design, it remains a favorite among collectors of modern U.S. coinage. Whether in copper-nickel-clad or 40% silver, the 1974 Eisenhower dollar continues to represent a significant chapter in American numismatic history and serves as an accessible yet meaningful piece of collectors around the world.